Hey everyone, it's about to be 1 year since I decided to become Muslim, and I thought I'd share a little bit about what led me to make that decision and how it's going a year later. So, essentially, it did start with Gaza. I, like many other reverts, was just blown away by the faith that I witnessed people going through in Gaza while going through the most horrendous things in life that one can imagine. And I just needed to know more about what made a person have faith and kindness in the face of a genocide. I pictured myself with my children in a situation like that, and I just knew right away that there was no way I could be going through something like that and still find it in my heart to care for others. And that's what I witnessed from Gazans daily. They were constantly concerned about our feelings on the outside, who were just people like me trying to help, and they managed to find ways to comfort us, which again just absolutely blew me away. I also wanted to learn more about the religion just to be able to combat a lot of the misinformation that I was seeing and a lot of the hate that Muslims were receiving. I didn't know a whole lot about the religion in detail at the time, but I just knew there was a lot of misinformation and unnecessary hate. So I wanted to learn more so that I could combat some of these things that I saw online. What I found out absolutely blew me away once again. I found out that in America in particular, we're heavily lied to about what Islam is and what it represents and what it causes people to do. I won't go into details because I'm sure you know, but just know that a majority of what you hear in the mainstream about Islam is false, is not true, or just completely twisted to make you have a negative view of them. And it makes sense because, we've been causing issues for Muslim countries for a very long time, and it helps if you dehumanize them, because then the citizens won't care about what you're doing. In fact, they'll even support it. So I did a lot of unpacking in that. Even though I understood that Islam was not a bad thing anymore, I still personally didn't have a belief in God. I grew up very Christian from the time I was could remember, all the way until I was about 14, when I finally decided to leave the church. I myself witnessed a lot of hypocrisy in my church and all of the church goers. They were the type that just went to church on Sunday, but then went off and did whatever they want the rest of the week and had no problem talking trash about others, and it just didn't seem very Christ-like to me. So I decided that organized religion in general was just not for me, and I became agnostic. For me, what that meant is I knew that there was a creator of some kind, but it was definitely not something that we could ever comprehend. And I just decided that all organized religions are the same and tools to control societies, essentially, and get them in line. So moving forward, I started watching a lot of YouTube videos and doing research and reading about why people believe that there is a God. What makes people believe that there is a God? It's hard to explain, but after hearing the reasoning from a lot of people, and especially Muslims themselves, it started to make a lot of sense. It started to become clear to me. I remember also asking God one day, just please, if you're real, give me signs. And lo and behold, I just started receiving signs, and positive things started happening to me the more that I paid attention to this. And then I can't even remember what actually clicked one day, but I finally just said, I believe this. I believe there's a God. And if there's a God, this religion has to be right. It just has to. It makes so much sense, especially as an ex-Christian, to kind of see how where things kind of split off and started to go wrong in that faith, and how Islam was trying to bring us back to the original truth, which is that there is only one God and that we should worship him and him alone. It made so much sense to me. So one day when I was alone in my house, I just decided I'm going to take Shahada. I was alone. I didn't have any witnesses, which I know is not how you're supposed to do it. But I just sat down in front of my sliding glass window. I closed my eyes and I said the words. I said them in English and then I said them in Arabic. And I kid you not, when that happened, my eyes were still shut. And out of nowhere, the light just got so much brighter and I could feel the warmth of the sun penetrating me more than it was just a second prior. And as I opened my eyes, I feel like I instantly saw the world differently. I can't explain it. Like, there was almost a physical haze in the air that just made everything sparkle and shine. And I looked at my daughter, and I'd never seen her in that light before. And it sounds terrible as a mother to say that, but I mean it. Like, I looked at her and she was glowing, and it was just pure love. And I just felt instantly like, yes, this is right. This is meant for me. It was indescribable, honestly. That sounds lame, the way I'm putting it, but that's really how it felt. I felt warm, fuzzy, and I could just see life through a different lens for a brief moment in time. And it was wonderful. I just knew instantly that this was right. So here we are a year later. And I won't lie, it hasn't been super easy. Islam itself, to me, is easy. The praying 5 times a day, doing wudu, all that to me is easy. Even fasting through Ramadan wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I thought fasting was going to be the absolute, this is going to make or break me if I can't do this. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I think the hardest part for me and for most reverts is that a lot of people in my life just haven't been as accepting about it as I expected them to be. Just because I cut through all the noise and did the research and learned that we were lied to and was able to see past the propaganda doesn't mean that everyone in my family suddenly had the same ideas as me. It took a long time, even for my husband, to understand what I was doing and why. And he was convinced that I was brainwashed by someone, that I was influenced by someone, and he couldn't believe that I just came to these conclusions on my own, and I came to this decision on my own. And I'll be honest, it's still a little hard sometimes. He's not Muslim. He has no interest in learning about Islam or any religion for that matter. And it is difficult. But inshallah, we will get through things, and I'm just starting to take it one day at a time. I know there are those of you that will just say, leave him, go, whatever. I've been married to my husband 10 years this December. I'm not breaking up my family just because I found something that works for me. And you can hate on that if you wish, but I don't believe for a second that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to break my family apart and traumatize my children just because I've learned the truth. If anything, I just pray that I'm the guide that maybe brings them to opening their minds to Islam. But that's all I have for now. I'm almost 10 minutes in, so Alhamdulillah for everything, and thank you for watching.